Hi everyone, welcome to our presentation, Financial Milestones in Your Working Life. My name is Dee Chan. I'm a certified financial planner here at Blueprint Wealth, and I hope by the end of the presentation today, you will be able to walk away with some understanding around relevant things to consider at each milestone. Out of today's presentation, I would like you to understand the different milestones we discussed today are a guide only. Your journey may look different to mine and others. There are certain things and certain aspects of each milestone that are important to consider. We will also cover off with some of the things you can do to make a difference. Did you know 2/3 of us don't retire by choice? Most of us will be able to live life as it passed by with no setbacks. However, for some of us, the choice may be taken away. It can be taken away due to failing health or work choices, such as redundancy or changes in the industry. We have to live our lives today while at the same time making sure that we are prepared if and when the choice is no longer there. To me, life is a journey. There is no point trying to look back to change the past, but instead, let's look at today and what we can do in the future to amend this. Before I show you this, I would like to remind you again that this is a guide only and we're at different stages in our lives. When we start our career and our first job, there are first things we need to consider. For me, the one that sticks out is making sure we protect our biggest asset. In our 30s, the great Australian dream is to get a mortgage for your home. According to the 2016 Census of Population and Housing, this is certainly the case for 67% of us. And most of us will do this just before or after we turn 30. At age 45, generally, you'll have started your working life and family and getting some control and understanding about how your mortgage works. This may not be the case for some of you, but that's okay. At this stage, you'll be juggling between managing your young family, getting your mortgage under control, and also contributing to super. And at 55, ideally, we want you to be debt-free. So you can set aside some of your cash flow towards building your retirement savings and doing the things you enjoy, like going on holidays. Being proactive at each milestone means when it comes to your retirement at age 65, you will know whether or not you have enough and retire comfortably. So you started work. For most of us, this will happen in our early 20s. You need to understand these basic principles I have listed here, especially the expenses part. When you can get these right and be disciplined at managing them, you'll develop good habits, which will help you with what is to come. Knowing what is your income and expenses or how much you need to live is important. We are humans and will consume things, which sadly cost money. Budgeting is a word that comes to mind, which no one likes, but getting to understand what is left over at the end of the month will allow you to save for a rainy day, save for your holidays, do all the fun things, and also to work out what is unnecessary. While saving for a rainy day, this is important, and we'll cover off on this later on. Making sure you don't spend beyond your means is another important consideration. You need to make sure you understand the cost of borrowing money is far greater than just interest repayments. It can also add pressure to your already busy and stressful life. Protecting your biggest asset, which we will talk later in the coming slide. I wonder if you know what I'm referring here as your biggest asset. With superannuation, when you just started work, this may not be as relevant when you are nearing retirement. Making sure you know where your super is important and knowing where it is invested to your preference. You will also need to be aware of any insurances attached to your superannuation and the costs related to this. Not all of us need insurances, but it is certainly worth considering. the great word of budget. It's certainly not a word most of us like to hear, so this is key to managing and developing good financial habits. I like to treat it more as my outgoings and how I manage it. You may have 3 different buckets. The first one is essentials, things you need to survive, like groceries, rent, mortgage, car insurance, and others. The second bucket is my lifestyle bucket, things you need to enjoy and make sure that you continue to be motivated to go to work, such as gym memberships, going out with friends, movies, takeaway, and others. The last bucket is the goals bucket. This I would consider more long-term, which you may want to start setting aside now to ease the burden later on. We could consider buying a car or going on holidays or even retirement a long-term goal. The key here for me is to start setting funds aside now at a smaller rate so it won't have such a big impact later on when it happens. I have been very fortunate to look after many clients from all walks of life. There is no one budgeting method to fit everyone. Do find out what works for you and start now and make sure you are onto it. There are many tools out there available to get you started. Just reach out to us when you're ready. Setting up a rainy day fund. It's really to make sure you have enough set aside in case you lose your ability to generate an income. Remember, sometimes the choice can be taken away from us. And this is where you need to be ready. If you get sick or lose your job, you need to have at least 3 months worth of your living expenses. The way we work it out is by first doing your budget to find out how much you need to live. If you don't have a rainy day fund, I urge you to please consider this and make it your priority. I know it won't happen overnight, but once you have set this aside, please leave it alone and don't touch it unless your income is affected for any reason. You guessed it right. Your biggest asset is you and your health. For most of us, ensuring our personal assets like a car is a must-have as soon as we got our driver license. I don't understand why we don't do this for our income though. When we are young and have no dependents, there may be no need for other insurances like life, critical illness, or total and permanent disability. However, making sure your income is protected for the next 40 years or so is crucial. I realize there's a lot of numbers in this table below. I'll walk you through it. For someone aged 25 earning approximately $80,000 per year, assuming they continue to work until 65, losing 40 years worth of income means they will lose the ability to generate future earnings of approximately $4.832 million, assuming there's no wage increase and it's only 2% indexation rate we apply here. So you can forget about that holiday or getting your dream home or even choices when it comes to medical treatment. There'll be no choice. It'll be taken away from you. If you compare this to someone earning the same income, $80,000 at age 50, this person will only lose $1.383 million of future income ability. This is definitely your biggest asset that we need to look after. Personal insurances. I will only touch briefly on this because I can talk about it all day. I just want to make sure you know the difference of each cover available. We have covered off on protecting your biggest asset and your ability to generate income, which is income protection. The next 3 are life insurances, total and permanent disability, and trauma or critical illness. Really simple. Life insurance protects you and your family if you have less than 12 months to live or if you pass away. Total and permanent disability helps you protect you and your family if you become, well, totally and permanently disabled due to an illness or an accident and unable to work for the rest of your working life. Trauma or critical illness pays you a lump sum amount if you get diagnosed with a critical medical condition. such as cancer, stroke, or heart attack. I can talk about this all day, but the only thing to note is there is no one-size-fits-all method here. You need to look at your position and discuss it with your partner or your family and have that discussion around, well, what happened if you die prematurely? Or what would happen if you get diagnosed with cancer and have less than 12 months to live? Or what would happen if you get sick and can't work for a period of time? Or worse, what if you lose your ability to work permanently? How will you cope then? Hello, 30. Congratulations. You made it to 30. Woo! So what's next for you? I'd like to remind you again that this is just a guide. And to refer back to the census data before, the home ownership rate is 67% in Australia, with half of that reported has a mortgage against their home. The great Australian dream is to own a home of your own. So let's do the math and work out if this is something you want and can afford to do. Make sure you get some help and advice to understand how much you need to save each month towards getting enough for a deposit. You should be able to work this out easily because by now you should have done your budget, right? If you're unsure, please get some help. I prefer a broker myself, and to make sure I'm getting the best deal possible from a panel of banks or lenders, we do have Kate at Blueprint, our in-house mortgage broker. Just let me know or reach out to her. When I said don't fall into the credit trap, I mean it. You just bought your own home now and you want to have all the nice things. I get it. You worked hard and this is your first home. What I also get is the pressure and stress which comes with having nice things all at once. Go back to our earlier slides. Remember, don't spend beyond your means. Just save up and have a look at Gumtree or Marketplace and buy what you can afford. They are just things, and trust me, your friends and family don't really care what things you have. I don't recall any of my friends telling me about the outdoor furniture I had in my first home when they came to visit 12 years ago. It's certainly not worth the added financial pressure to our already hectic and stressful lives. Picture this. You have moved into your new home and have this new mortgage. What's next? A massive TV? It is more important than ever to adjust your insurances to reflect this. Ask yourself this question. Have I adjusted my income protection with my new current income? Will it be enough to cover my mortgage repayments if I can't work? If you have a partner now, does this mean your life and disability cover needs to change? Maybe it's time for you to consider critical illness insurance to make sure that you have some money set aside if you suffer from cancer and need some treatment. Turning 45. You're halfway there. Yay! Now you have started a family. That's nice. And paying down your first home loan or upgraded to a bigger home. Even nicer. There'll be lots of nice things, or like a lot of things, you need to juggle at this point. You will have daycare fees, possibly school fees, mortgage, and at the same time, making sure your super and home loan is under control is important. How would you know whether you're on track? In my experience, most of clients seek advice at this point. There is a lot of things happening all at once. Trying to find the balance between enjoying the now and doing fun things, creating memories with your family is as important as making sure you pay more into your mortgage and possibly look at putting some money aside for your super. I don't want to keep going back to this, and by now you should well and truly understand how much you spend and whether there is any left over each month for the fun and sensible things. If you don't, please make sure you reach out and we can offer you some tools. I know the importance of protecting your family here, and your life is certainly changing since you may have a couple of extra mouths to feed. And guess what? They are not contributing to your finances. Making sure your insurance is adjusted to take them into consideration is important. Age 55. By this stage, I find most of my clients are at the peak of their career, where they are earning more than before. This will happen to you too. Your income will be at its peak here, and what you do with it will be just as important as before. By now, you would have been close to clearing your home loan or cleared it completely. Remember, the budgeting you have done before and making additional repayment to your home loan, this is what it's leading up to. If you have cleared your home loan, then what should you do with a surplus or leftover money each month? I'm sure you can work this out yourself without my help. But from my experience, I encourage my clients to strike the balance between putting more money into super for retirement in the next 10 years or so, and also doing fun things that brings you joy. For most of us, it can be hard to continue to be motivated to work. I want you to think about doing things you love. Traveling overseas, upgrading your car, caravanning, home renos, or other things that brings you joy. Doing them now while you work means that you get these done while you're still working and funding them using your cash flow, income now. I found for some of my clients, they are working longer beyond 65 in a reduced or part-time capacity and doing more of the fun things like travel and renos. And this helps them to stay motivated and working for longer. By this point in time, you are close to have cleared your debts and have accumulated more assets inside or outside your super. Your children should be nearing independent or off your hands by now, and this is certainly the time when insurances become less relevant to you. The cost will only go higher from this point on. As we get older, sadly, it increases our risk, which affect our premiums. Reviewing or cancelling your insurance is something you need to consider. Oh, that's nice. As much as you think this is the end of our journey, guess again. This is just the beginning and a new chapter of your life. All of your hard work has come to this point. You should have cleared your debts, traveled, or done most of the things you want to do to your home and ready to embark on a different journey. You will have the time to do the things you want to do. With more time, you become more conscious about managing your cost of living and may want to consider accessing government benefits and whether that's state or federal benefits. Making sure you know how much you need to draw out of your super is important too. For most of us, statistically, we will live to age 84 to 88. And from my experience, I know that the first 10 years of our retirement will be the most expensive years. And this will taper down as you get older, where health is no longer, and where health choices are taken away from us. The most important things to consider is to make sure you have fun and enjoy this new adventure. A few things I would like you to consider. There's no one size fits all. Everyone has a different situation, and what might be suitable and okay for you might not be right for me. The most powerful force in this universe is the power of compounding interest, says Einstein. Start now and make your small changes today. This will make a greater difference. It doesn't take much, and just do the small things like understand your cost of living, your expenses. Don't spend beyond your means and just try to understand how your home loan or super works. And if you don't, well, it's certainly time to get some help. Seek advice. I certainly wouldn't like to try to fix my own car, so why should you manage your finances alone with no help? There are plenty of tools available out there. One of my favorite is the ASIC Money Smart website. It has all the resources and information, calculators even, to help you get started. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. We would love the opportunity to sit down with you to review your personal and financial goals and develop a solution to meet your lifestyle and retirement goals. To book a meeting or consultation with us, just reach out and we look forward to hearing from you. Once again, thank you for viewing our presentation, and I really hope you will be able to walk away with a few key points. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to us if you need a hand. Bye.